Longlegs is a new crime horror thriller starring Maika, Monroe, and Nicolas Cage, directed by Osgood Perkins. Is that what his name is? It is his name, yes. I didn't know if it was Oswell or Osgood. Nailed it. So this movie revolves around this serial killer known as Longlegs, played by Nicolas Cage. For decades now, he has been going to different families' homes. He's been murdering all of them, absolutely just butchering them. The only clues he leaves behind are these envelopes with satanic lettering in them, with his name signed at the bottom. But the most peculiar thing of all is, when the FBI investigates his victims' bodies and the murders, they discover that there is no real evidence that he actually did any of the killings himself. So now they bring on this young FBI agent, played by Maika Monroe, to uncover not only who Longlegs is, where he is, but how he's committing these murders. Every year now, for I want to say the last 10 years, we get a horror movie that's just marketed to us as like the most terrifying horror movie of the last 10 years. I mean, I can think of one from probably every year in the last decade. I mean, It Follows, Don't Breathe, Get Out, A Quiet Place, Talk to Me. There's always one that just gets absurd hype from critics and reviews and the media. Longlegs was the one for 2024, as it would seem. I typically don't get into the hype for those kind of horror movies all that much. I've never been the biggest horror fan, and typically when people say it's as terrifying as it is, most of the time it's not. But the trailer for this movie was very interesting. I'm also a big fan of Nicolas Cage. I was very interested in seeing him in this serial killer sort of role. And the lead actress, Maika Monroe, I'm not sure if she's been anything since It Follows. I don't know if she's really been in anything really big since then. So yeah, I decided to give this movie a chance. And is it the most terrifying movie experience of the last 10 years? No. But it is a very good horror movie. This movie has been compared in a lot of ways as a modern day version of Silence of the Lambs, and I can totally see that. You have this young female FBI agent who's been brought on to figure out this horrific serial killer, where he is, how he's doing what he's doing. But what I really like here with Maika Monroe is there is something about her that makes her seem unique. Like, you feel like when you meet her, she has kind of like this sixth sense vibe to her a little bit. Like, she can sense something's wrong. She can sense when something's going on that may feel different. Even in the interactions she has with people, like, she has kind of this little nervous tick, this little awkwardness about her, if you will. Like, she's clearly not a very sociable person, but you almost feel that's what makes her this great FBI agent. She's great at working in solitude. She's great at cracking all these codes that Longlegs is leaving for the FBI. Like, it doesn't take long to quickly see why the FBI wants her to take the lead in solving this case behind this serial killer. And yeah, getting into the performance of this movie, one of the best performances of the whole year. Nicolas Cage in this movie absolutely fucking crushes it. I mean, first of all, whoever did his character design or his makeup or whatever, they deserve a raise, they deserve recognition, they deserve something, because he looks absolutely disturbing and creepy in this movie, first of all. But not even just that, he himself as a character, as a performance, just gives such a haunting, disturbing, unsettling vibe throughout this entire movie. I mean, Nicolas Cage in so many movies has always played the weird, eccentric character, but there was always a fun, funny sort of vibe to that character. In this case, he kind of plays that same character that he's gotten very used to playing, but he puts a very horrific spin on that. Like doing weird stuff and saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, or just breaking out and doing the most random thing ever. Typically, in other movies when he does it, it's hilarious. In this movie, when he does it, it creeps the fucking shit out of you. He completely owned that role. Whenever he was on screen, I was on the edge of my seat. He couldn't have been saying anything or even doing anything, but I was genuinely scared for whatever his character was gonna do next. And that's credit to him for an amazing performance. And honestly, the atmosphere and the vibe that's in the movie itself is very, very effective. And I think that's what's ultimately going to sell this movie when it comes to the horror aspect. Because there's never really a moment in this movie where you felt like you could just breathe, relax a little bit, you're always on the edge of your seat, feeling like something's gonna happen that's just gonna scare the shit out of you. Like when the investigation is going down, when a character is looking for something, but you feel like there's something else around, or you can see that something else is there that has to do what they're looking for, but the characters can't see it. It has you sitting like, oh shit, something's gonna happen. We know it's gonna happen, but we don't know if you know. Shit. Another element to this movie that I think really works for this movie that other people may not love very much is its pacing. This is a slow movie, 100%. This is not a fast-paced horror movie, but I think it really benefits the movie in that case because it's supposed to. This is a crime investigation sort of movie. Throughout this movie, Maika Monroe is trying to solve the letters that this killer is leaving her, trying to, figure out what all this satanic imagery might mean, what it has to do with the killings, how he's doing them. It's nothing that's just gonna quickly be solved or quickly be figured out. It's a very long process. It feels like an investigation. It does a good job of making you feel like you are there. So I give the movie props for that. It really sucks you into the world, not just in the element of fear and horror, but also in the investigation crime area of this movie. The movie sucks you in. You're paying attention for things that might scare the shit out of you or things that could help you figure out what the whole point of the crime and the story is here. As far as flaws with the movie go, as I mentioned earlier, it feels like a modern day version of Silence of the Lambs a little bit. It's certainly not in the same league as Silence of the Lambs, and is it the most terrifying horror movie of the last 10 years? I don't think so. Like I said, the movie is scary and it is creepy, and there were some moments that genuinely made me jump quite a bit. It didn't rely on jump scares, which I really appreciate, but there were just moments, something happened, you're just like, oh shit, feel the heart racing a little bit there. But that being said, did the movie affect me so much that I couldn't sleep that night, or I was looking over my shoulder like, oh, okay, something watching me, is something out there? It wasn't really quite like that. Now, I know the movie's probably not trying to aim to be something like that, but nevertheless, I guess for me, when I go into a horror movie, for me, if it really sticks with you, is if it leaves you with that feeling. And this one didn't really do that. Also, gonna be honest with everyone right now, I didn't love the ending for this movie. Now, the ending is kind of one of those, like, it's definitely meant for those, like, oh, what the ending of Longlegs means kind of videos on YouTube, but sometimes I appreciate movies that have those kind of endings that make you think a little bit more, have to leave you indulge in what it means. For me, I guess I would have liked a more clear, resolved ending. This one just left me with a lot of questions like, okay, but why does this happen here? Why are we referencing this? Why isn't this happening? I don't know, just left me with too many questions, and I don't know, I don't like walking out of my movies a lot with a lot of questions burning for me. But all in all, Longlegs is a very effective and very good movie. Maika Monroe and Nicolas Cage both do a phenomenal job here, especially Nicolas Cage. I really hope the Academy gives him some recognition or something like that. I know they don't do a lot with horror movies nowadays, but if they're ever going to, he deserves something. Without question, one of the most memorable performances of the year and one of the most memorable performances of his career. The atmosphere, the tension in this movie, it is really intense. It's really scary. It has you on the edge of your seat. It's not the most terrifying thing ever, but it is absolutely 100% effective. The pacing of this movie did not bother me at all. I can't say the same for everybody else, though. The ending was not for me, but again, can't say the same for everybody in that. In the end, it's definitely not quite on the same level as a horror crime thriller like Silence of the Lambs, but it is a very good horror movie, and I'm very happy to see it doing as well at the box office because this will now encourage the smaller studios to make more independent, original horror movies for us to enjoy. Those are the little wins we have to root for in movies. I'm glad this movie's doing well in that sense. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.